Hello children and welcome to the session today. Children, we have been learning about the various life processes that enable life to exist on earth. Right from digestion, ingestion of food to the utilization of food in the body, the circulation, the excretion, the nervous system that takes messages to and fro from the brain and the body. Today we are going to learn another important system. We are going to learn in chapter number 9, reproduction in animals. We are all well aware of the fact that reproduction is a very essential life process. It is the process that distinguishes living things from non-living things, and it is also important for the continuation of generations after generations. So children, whether it is the animals that give birth to their young ones like the cat or the dog, or it is the bird that lays eggs, all living organisms reproduce in some way or the other. Now, the methods of reproduction are broadly categorized into asexual and sexual reproduction. Now, talking about asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction requires the participation of only one parent, whereas sexual reproduction involves the participation of two parents, the mother and the father. So, asexual reproduction, a simple example is that of Hydra. We have learned this in reproduction in plants in the previous class. Today, let us understand the reproduction in Hydra once again. So, we know that one portion of Hydra's body gives rise to something which is called a bud. Slowly and steadily, this bud grows in length and size. And once it is fully grown, the parent body and the bud separate into two different entities. So, what is this process known as? This is known as budding, and it is an asexual mode of reproduction involving only the parent cell, one parent. Coming next to the second type of asexual reproduction, which is binary fission. As you can see here, binary fission is majorly seen in amoeba. So, what is happening here? The parent cell is simply dividing into two daughter cells. First, the nucleus divides, then the two daughter cells divide, and then they give rise to two different cells. These cells will further continue to divide, and in this way, the amoeba continues to grow. So, children, asexual reproduction involves one parent. Sexual reproduction involves two parents. Now, whether it is production of eggs or giving birth to your young ones, both require sexual reproduction. And in sexual reproduction, there is the male gamete or the male cell and the female gamete, which is known as the egg. These two combine together in order to form a zygote. And what happens to the zygote? The zygote divides into many cells. It multiplies into cells, some of which take shape of the hands, some of which the head, in case of birds, the wings, in case of fish, the fins, etc. So, this is how the process of sexual reproduction takes place in brief. Let us understand the parts of male and female reproductive organs in human beings through this video. In human beings, sexual reproduction involves both the male and the female. Let us learn about the reproductive organs of males and females. The male reproductive organs include a pair of testes, two sperm ducts, a urethra, and a penis. Two oval-shaped testes are located in small and muscular pouches called scrotum. The testes produce the male gametes called sperms and also produce a sex hormone, testosterone. Each sperm has a head, a middle piece and a tail. The tail helps the sperm to move. Two narrow ducts called vas deferens or sperm ducts join the testis to the urethra. These ducts carry sperms to the urethra by the muscular action of the wall. The seminal vesicles produce a fluid which mixes with the sperm and is called semen. Urethra is a long tube that arises from the urinary bladder and carries urine. It runs through the penis and opens to the outside through the male genital pore. The semen from the vas deferens also joins the urethra. A long, thick muscular organ that injects sperm into the vagina of the female is called the penis. The female reproductive organ includes a pair of ovaries, two oviducts or fallopian tubes, the urethra and vagina. Two ovaries are present in females that produce ova or eggs and the sex hormone estrogen and progesterone. Fallopian tubes are thin, coiled muscular tubes with a funnel-shaped opening near the ovaries. The egg released by the ovary goes into the fallopian tube where it is fertilized by the sperm to form the zygote. The fallopian tubes open into a bag-like structure called the uterus or womb. The zygote develops into a baby in the uterus. The uterus opens into a muscular tube called vagina, which opens to the outside of the body. So children, we have seen and understood in the video how these specialized organs take care of the entire process of producing a young one. Now let us understand who tells these organs to do what. So there is this endocrine system inside our body. This system produces chemicals which are known as hormones. Now these hormones reach the sexual organs, the gonads, and bring out certain changes or certain activities that we have just read. So what are the hormones that inspire reproduction in males? They are testosterone, and the female hormones are estrogen and progesterone. Estrogen specifically helps in the growth, and it also helps in the development of the thin voice, the body shape, etc. Progesterone is specifically there to support a woman during pregnancy, to develop the mammary glands, milk secretion, etc. Now children, a few minutes ago we discussed that the male gamete combines with the female gamete to form a zygote. What is this process called? This process is known as fertilization. Now, fertilization can again be of two types. It can be internal fertilization or external fertilization. Internal fertilization takes place inside the body of the female, as in case of cats, dogs, etc. Taking the example of a hen. So, after hen egg is fertilized inside the body, the hen lays the egg. It has a hard shell around it which protects the egg. After a period of 3 weeks of continuous incubation, the embryo begins to develop. So what is this embryo? As we just said, that zygote is one cell. This one cell undergoes division and it forms multiple cells. Now, what do these multiple cells do? These multiple cells develop into a variety of organs and they develop into something that can be identified, which is known as an embryo. This was about internal fertilization. Now, what about external fertilization? External fertilization takes place in case of frogs, fish, etc. So what is external fertilization? In external fertilization, the mother lays the eggs at the corner of a pond. The father releases sperm over the eggs. Now, these sperms may not be able to fertilize all the eggs because one, they can be blown away by wind and water, and two, there are many predators who are ready to eat these eggs. So once these eggs have been fertilized, the development of the embryo takes place. in human beings, the embryo develops in the uterine wall in an area which is known as the womb. And we have just read that the embryo arises after many repeated cycles of cell division. And this is also known as cell differentiation, because some of the cells will lead to the formation of the head, some the limbs. Now, the stage of an embryo in which all the body parts can be identified is known as a fetus. We have also learned in our junior classes that the animals that give rise to their young ones or give birth to their young ones are known as viviparous, and those that lay eggs like the hen are known as oviparous. Now children, we understand the development of the hen's egg, we understand the development of the human embryo, but what about the frog or the fish? So in this case, when the eggs are laid, they fertilize to form the embryo. The embryo forms somewhat grown-up creature called the tadpole. In case of butterfly, it may be a caterpillar, and then the tadpole develops into an adult frog. Now, if you see from this stage to this stage, there is no resemblance. A complete transformation of the body shape is taking place. What is this process called? It is known as metamorphosis, where there is a complete transformation in the shape of the initial stages of life cycle and the adult animal. So children, this was about reproduction. Now, having understood reproduction, let us understand how cloning can be done. So what is cloning? Cloning is basically the process of producing similar population of genetically identical twins. Now, how does this happen? This happens when the qualities of one individual are preserved and they are used to create another individual. And the first clone was a sheep named Dolly that was created in 1996. By cloning an animal such as sheep, what can we produce? We can produce sheep or goat that give us a large quantity of wool or milk, maybe of a desirable quality. So children, in this chapter, you have learned the different modes of reproduction. You've also learned how the different organs work together in producing a new individual. You've also learned the kinds of fertilization, internal and external, and the difference between viviparous and oviparous animals. Time for you to attempt the questions at the back. Thank you.